And what is it, the 10th of January?
It is. Yeah.
And holy moly, I'm still Chris.
I'm always Charlie.
And still Charlie.
Sometimes.
That's a good thing. One never knows. And we are
8-ballin'. Oh my God.
episode 71.
There we go.
So-
almost didn't have it there.
We had a comment on the show, the Christmas show, when we were wearing scarves.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just some girl that found us. And she said we should timestamp stuff. She said, I like your podcast. I've been going through them. And I don't know what that means. Does that mean when we talk about something, we say, yeah, yesterday on January 9th, blah, blah, blah? Or
Timestamp could be several things. I know all the episodes, obviously, they go out live, so they're timestamped for that day and time. But maybe she means, like, when we talk about certain topics, you know? So, like, we would have to go back, watch the episode, which I'd be willing to do, to actually be like, this is when we talk about child molestation. This is when we talk about guns. Hopefully we don't talk about that too much. The other one, not guns. Stuff like that on each episode.
well, I used to do a little bit of that, but now I just give kind of a general
I kind of
title.
just go through and say what we talk about in the episode when I post anything, and usually that's facetious. So people are like, oh my God, you talk about books that are going to kill you or whatever. And I'm like, it's just books that I would read that would make me want to kill myself. Anyway.
So lots has happened. Busy week, man.
Oh, yeah.
What's the one thing that if you had to just make a comment about this week that's most prevalent on your mind?
I would say it's a good thing that this shit happened. I don't know. That's what I've come full circle. And you and
Really?
I discussed. That's funny. Yeah. Yep. And I'll explain that. That's my quick comment. And I know you and I talked about this already for like over an hour, but I would say this is a good thing that happened for a bad reason.
Interesting.
That's to sum it up.
And you're going to say it woke a bunch of people up to what you maybe want to think twice about trying to do. Am I reading your mind correctly?
Yes. Also that, yeah.
I don't disagree with that. I'm not,
Yeah.
yeah. Whether or not it's good that it happened and that it has the outcome you're anticipating remains to be seen, right? If it does what I think you think it's going to do, I don't disagree. But fucking A, lots of things could
Crazy
happen.
shit.
So, you know,
Crazy
this
shit.
may seem small of me, but you know what's at least on my mind right now? You know what's really bothering me? Is that Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and I'm told Ibram Kendi and whoever else, before this thing had even settled, before the facts had even been gathered, before I think they were even aware that a woman was shot dead, right, by a White House cop, Secret Service, whoever the guy was, they said if this was a Black Lives Matter protest, which it wasn't at that
They'd all
point,
be
but
dead.
anyway, they said it would have turned out a lot differently. And you know what? That's and Joe Biden said if this were a Black Lives Matter event, it would have turned out totally different, and that's unacceptable. You're condemning something that didn't happen. Literally, he's like, that's
That's so fucking funny. It's
So
ridiculous.
when I heard
Yeah.
that, I called a friend because I was literally incredulous. I'm like, I can't fucking believe this. So here's
Wait,
my
2 seconds.
analogy.
I really want to pay attention to you. The door's
Okay.
open. Just give me 1 second.
Okay. I'll sing while we wait. Mama Pajama rolled out of bed and went to the police station. That's all I'm doing. Come on back, Charlie. All right. The people keep repeating, you'll never fall in love. Gosh dang. I'm not going out there any more than that. I need music accompaniment. I like singing.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
I sang the first line of a couple songs and got embarrassed and stopped.
Good.
So I'm talking about this with a friend, and I said, here's what it's like. Think of this. You got a kid. Your kid you've had a discussion. He's no longer interested, he or she, in family vacations. Let's call it a he. And you talk to your wife, and you're like, so should we let Charlie, if we were to go on vacation, should we leave Charlie home alone at the age of 16? And you go to your kid and you say, you know what, your mom and I talked. We might go on a vacation. We thought about whether or not we'd leave you alone. And we concluded that either you'd choose to or you would get pressured into having a party and you'd trash the house. And that's unacceptable. You're grounded for a week. That's insane, right? If we were to do
Because
this,
we thought
your
that you would
behavior
do
would
this.
be unacceptable. You're in big trouble, young man. What the fuck?
And that is unacceptable. Therefore, we're going to kick Donald Trump off of Twitter, which is we'll get into that, but that's essentially what they were saying, right? And it's so fucking funny. And people that don't grasp that, there's a disconnect there that is like the basis of all political
Politics,
division, I wanna
period.
say. Yeah, it's the basis
Just
of all politics. Right,
politics.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that one though, both of them. And then fucking Ibram Kendi, whatever. It doesn't surprise me from him. But Joe Biden and Kamala, really? You guys are smart. Let's deal in reality. If this had been, then it would have been, and that's unacceptable. What? I'm sorry, what the fuck? That is crazy talk.
It's just so stupid.
And it's stirring
stupid.
the shit out of the pot.
Pot stirs. Yeah, we talked about Trump being a pot stirrer.
Right?
And it's
I'm
like,
in
you
charge
fucking
and everything's
fuckers are
going to be
still-
okay.
Yeah.
I'm in charge and everything's going to be okay. And I criticized Barack Obama for not being good enough at it. I criticized Donald Trump for not doing it at all. And Joe Biden, first opportunity, he fucking failed. He didn't settle things down. He riled things up. Fucking A.
And then pointing the finger. Everybody's obviously that's just like you said. It's riling up, but you're not solving the problem by being like Donald Trump has to solve this problem. I can't do it. I'm just the one who's gonna point out that it's not my problem to solve. Like you're being a fucking, excuse me. You're being a coward by doing that.
That
You know,
was,
condemn it or whatever. But yeah.
yeah.
And then all these Republicans, I was watching ABC while it was happening live. All these Republicans they were having on. It was like people who had their first day in Congress being like, this is unacceptable. And obviously all the Republicans are turncoats, you know, which is their prerogative now that he's 10 days away from, or he was only 2 weeks away from leaving the office. But I'm seeing now, which is kind of disturbing me, all of the people that I know who are Republicans on Facebook and Twitter being like, this is unacceptable and we condemn this act of violence and all this shit. And I'm like, stand up for your fucking rights. These people are being horrible. Like you can condemn the act, but understand there's a bigger picture going on, which is why I said at the beginning of the episode, if I had one quick comment on it, is that I think it was a good thing that happened because these politicians are just, they get away with way too fucking much. And nobody has ever tried to do anything like that. Well, I shouldn't say ever. This is the first time we've ever seen it as
yeah.
people. Have,
Well, Trump has the biggest hand in it.
we're gonna march to the Capitol after this march. After
For sure.
Did you hear that? Yeah.
The whole thing.
We're gonna go tell them what we want.
I'm just back to our conversation that was middle of the week, and I actually looked at the Vanity Fair article. I don't know why, on AOC, just to get riled up about her.
Fuck who?
AOC and the Vanity Fair
okay.
thing. Oh my
Wait,
God. She's
that
fully
thing Chris
fully ickified.
swamped up. We call it.
She's swamped up.
You sent me that Fox News article about her saying people who are feel that they have economic insecurity should boycott going to work after coronavirus allows them to go back to work.
Right.
I'm like, who the fuck? That's what I did one of my short episodes on, and maybe we'll just post it. But it's like, I'm like, who the fuck are you? What is the solution to economic insecurities to do the one thing that'll bring you with certainty more economic instability? To not work? What the fuck are you doing?
She doesn't
It
get
just
it.
blows my mind. Anyway,
She
we're getting
doesn't
a little
get
off
it.
track. No, she doesn't get it.
That's all right. That's all right. It's been an emotional week. All right. I want to hear what you have to say. I'm pretty sure I know exactly what you're going to say, but I want to hear it because I hadn't thought about that. Well, I mean, I
Why, that
had,
it's a
but
good thing?
not in detail. Well, I just thought of potential outcomes, and that was one of them. But I didn't think it was good. I just thought of what the fuck's next.
And I use good as very, very broad in this sense. So I'm not, I wanted to just make it like a quick little soundbite, but
Behind every blade of grass.
there will be, there'll be a rifle behind every blade of grass. Yeah. My point is that these politicians get away with so much, and I was admittedly brainwashed from a young age by my dad to hate the state, which I don't have any negative feelings about my upbringing whatsoever. And then,
Interesting way to
being
put it.
raised in a what?
Interesting way to put it.
I don't think that he was wrong to brainwash me in that sense, but I've been listening to him complain about this and my grandpa since I was a child, and now, when I grew into adulthood, whatever, taking a look at things for myself, even developing my own political ideologies, it comes down to zero reciprocity for the voter. There's never anything that you can do that the politicians are just going to do anyway. They're always going to take more of your money. They're always going to take more of your rights away. Whenever they sit down and get together to decide something for you, it always ends badly. And this is the first time ever that people have actually taken something away from them, which is like, you're going to fucking do this shit, which is just, we wanted there to be a little bit of an audit. We wanted there to be a cross check on the voting. And who knows? I'm just spitballing there. That might not even be the reason most of those people were there. But when you don't do that, and people are actually willing to say, you know what, this is fucked up, and I've been getting stomped on too long, left boot, right boot, whatever it's going to be, and the people who are in there, who I know are my enemies, are doing this to me, but the people who are in there who are supposed to be my friends, the Republicans, are fucking spineless pussies and do nothing. So I'm going to have to go in there and finally do something for once, and that's what I saw this is happening, which indicates to me that not all Republicans are spineless. It's just the ones who are in office that we mistakenly elected. And it was a good sign to me that people don't not care entirely. That matters.
I didn't think you were going to say that.
Oh, what do you think I was going to say?
That it would scare politicians into what they might think about doing.
Oh, that's kind of the point, though. It's like you're finally showing them that you're not saying...
Because what happened was not good. What happened was not good. A U.S. citizen... I will tell you, those people who climb those walls, if you watch if you look at the link I sent you to that reporter guy, if you get a chance.
Yeah, I watched it already.
The degree to which people got in that building had to breach, they had to climb up. They had to climb the walls and or climb the scaffolding. I would have no problem if every one of them got shot. They had no business in that building. No fucking business. And whether you like your government or not, if you subscribe, if you're here and you're enjoying what the country gives you, then you're part of the game. And as icky as I think it is, and sometimes it makes me frustrated and want to puke, the Capitol building, that's hallowed ground. You fucking go in there, you die. Our entire Senate, our entire House, and our Vice President were in that building. Why you would breach that, we're not waiting to find out. You get shot.
And they did do that. They did shoot. But they also let them in. You didn't see these videos of the Capitol Police standing aside and letting people in?
Well, they didn't confront them. That they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do. They got trained by all the BLM behavior, right? What do? We're supposed to shoot, but wait, you don't shoot protesters. It's the fucking Capitol building. Shoot them. Shoot them.
Okay, so that's I hear what you're saying. I don't disagree with any of that, but you're talking about how the events of that day actually unfolded. What do you think about what that means? You know, you're talking about what
I think
the
if
police
you
should have done.
Whatever the people who chose to enter that building had on their mind, I don't agree with taking it that far. You want to go to the march to the building, go to the steps, say whatever it is you have to say. Yes, you go in there to make some sort of statement, and that's a threat. You go in that building, you're making a threat on our elected officials. You're a shitty fucking American. And if they put a bullet in your head, reap what you sow.
You do reap what you sow in that sense. I agree. I'm not going as far as to say that you're a shitty fucking American for what is it what they were saying when all these BLM protests were hear me out. I see you're about to say something. They were saying that protests are the voices of the unheard or whatever. Protest is the speech of the unheard. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but if you're going to go on that sense, these people are unheard. You're the ones who kicked them off the fucking platforms.
But you know what my opinion is? When we were talking about one of the BLM events and the woman went into a Gucci or whatever, a high-end store, and she said, that store's not for me. That's why I went in there and looted. And I said, yes, some stores aren't for certain people. And if you can't afford to go into that store, sorry. You know, figure out a way to have the money to go into the store or not. But it doesn't entitle you to go in there and fucking steal something that you otherwise wouldn't be able to afford, right? I am with you on those protests and those acts of violence, the looting, the fires, everything. All fucking wrong. But you go into the Capitol, bang. If I were one of those cops, I'd have fucking shot him in the head.
See,
bam.
And this
See, and what happened? The one, hang on. You said you saw all the footage of the woman who got shot, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry somebody's dead, but there was furniture up a door. There was a hand out of a window with a gun, and she lunged through a pushed-out window into an area where, did you see the two people walking there? Those were people's offices. And a guy shot to protect people who were in the Capitol building. And I'm sorry she had to die, but guess what? How many other people tried to get through that window? Zero.
No one else. Yeah.
Point made.
That's at that point, that's a good, the best defense is a good offense. You're like, all right, I'll fucking pop a shot. And you're like, no one else is going to come through. I agree with that tactic even.
And just to finish something.
Trying to shoot a woman. Go ahead.
I posted on Instagram. Sorry about that. And Tucker Carlson, his comments on that. Your boy lost me. He's turned into fucking. Who's the guy that's on after him?
I didn't even watch anything that Tucker had to say.
He's been fully foxified. He's Hannity now. He started losing it a couple months ago. Anyway, I found him so endearing when he went on Rubin. Anyway, people said, look at the cops in the hallway who were escorting him. what I think happened in that situation is people were coming down the hallway and there were the blockaded doors and a guy with a gun on the other side who said, I got the windows. I think those 4, 5, 6 cops, whatever, that were in the stairway, I think they were cordoning off that stairway. So they didn't have another option. So it was either try to go through those doors and get shot, try to go down the stairway and get shot, or go back. Because people said, oh, those cops in the stairway, they weren't doing anything. Yeah, I think they were securing that stairway. So they had no other options. That's what I think was going on there.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I don't have an issue with that.
So, hey, trap him in the hallway. Don't let him go down the stairs. I think that was a smart move.
I agree. And that way you're not. Yeah, that way you could.
So,
one dude with a 20-round handgun could
right.
do whatever he's got to do.
Bang, next, bang, next, bang, next. And this may sound brutal, but fucking A.
Yeah, you deserve that. I don't. Right. I don't have any feelings.
It's not even deserve. It's.
No, you do deserve that. That's you're
going into
like
a
it's
death
a stand
zone.
your ground thing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's a
Sorry,
capital
like
building.
deserve is not the wrong word there.
Yeah, it's just the rules of the game are you cross this point and you will die.
Now, let me go back, just rewind a little bit. You were mentioning this hallowed ground thing. Now, if you're using that as an excuse as to why these people deserve to or should have gotten shot, which I can understand that's fair. But in that case, I'd say all federal property is like if you're right after we saw 8 months of fires and you're coming to the Capitol building or the city hall or whatever the fuck it is, you're getting bullets, right? We're responding with bullets. I have no issue with that. But this whole thing about the Capitol being quote unquote hallowed ground, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. Like
to storm it, physically go in there.
No. I'm saying it makes it worse because they stormed it and because it's the Capitol building. I don't see that as any justification for making it a worse morally or American, like, in terms of who you are as an American. I don't think that the government should be some special class of citizens who, why should I not care about your office? It's my office. You fucking took my office away. Now, I'm coming to you.
Yeah, but the
grievances.
process is you vote them out. You don't go in there and do who knows what.
But nobody ever does that, and especially after they just proved that you can't even vote them out because, and obviously,
The election
Trump
wasn't
has a lot
rigged,
to blame
dude.
for this. I'm saying I didn't say the election was rigged. I'm saying a lot of those people felt like that, and the easiest way to disprove that is to just count the fucking votes, and you should
So
have done that.
I feel like driving a Ferrari, so I get to go shoot somebody and steal one, drive away with one.
No, you don't.
So those people
what did
felt
I just
that way.
say that made you
Sorry,
think that?
You
Wait,
said
go back.
You said the people felt that way, so that justifies what they did. Fuck them. Get over it. Sorry,
No.
your feelings are hurt.
I didn't fucking say that. Don't put shit in my mouth. What did I just say that made you think that that's what I meant?
You said the
Just
people
tell me.
felt that way. They didn't feel like the system worked for them. They didn't. You said the people felt that way. I don't give a fuck.
That's fair, but the point is not let's commit crimes because feelings are hurt. The point is our side has a position in politics. Your side has a position in politics. Part of us being a cohesive unit is compromise, right? At some point, if you're the winning side and you're unwilling, you're just being a sore, or what's the line from Django? You're being an abysmal winner. You're like, no, fuck you. We won, and we're not going to do whatever. They should have had the audit. They should have done the audit. You would have avoided all this shit. And it's very easy to come
What's
together.
the audit?
They should have done a vote count. There was no official vote count or audit or anything like that on the outcome of the election.
Every single court challenge that Trump levied was knocked down.
What
He
were the
followed a
challenges? Were the
process,
challenges, I want
and he
these to
lost.
be hand counted.
None of them mandated hand counts. Trump wanted something that wasn't in the rule book.
None of them
And he took it to
warranted
the
hand counts.
courts. And they said, sorry, the rules say you lost. You have no case. He lost by the rules. You don't get to say, well, I want them counted anyway.
As the Democrats, then I don't fucking know. Then I'm even more upset because the Republicans should have fought for that. They should have said,
Fought
yes, you
for
should do this.
what? It's an election.
For the hand count. They should have done that
What
anyway.
hand count?
I'm saying you should
When
have
it's
done that
within-
anyway. I'm using hand count as a broad sense. The Republicans should have fucking known that that's going to piss off your
Then devote the rest of
constituents.
your life to reforming the voting process.
Maybe you're right. I don't think my point is that hard to grasp. I think it's pretty straightforward, and I'm not making it. I'm not being unreasonable. And just because 535
you
wizards
are.
sat,
You're saying
What?
basically Trump wanted them to do things that aren't part of the process. And his constituents, because he threw a 2-month hissy fit, were following their leader and their feelings were hurt and they stormed the Capitol.
since when do the rules of government in America actually affect what happens in America? They just passed some 5,800-page COVID
All right.
bill. I don't want to be like point the finger, but come the fuck on.
I don't even
never
know what
mattered.
I honestly don't know what you're talking about. You're
I'm saying-
you're upset and I don't there's no logic
All right,
to
I'm
what you're
calming
saying.
down. Fair enough. I'm calming down.
So where define the wrong for me? It's like I am likening your behavior to like institutional racism. Institutional racism. They didn't do the hand count. What hand count?
I'm
The
not
rules are
saying-
if it's within I think less than 0.5%, then you got to do a hand count. And then if there's something I forget, if there's some whatever, you got to do a hand count. Trump went to 60 courts, from municipalities to the Supreme fucking Court of the United States. Every single court case, they said, "You got nothing, dude. It's over."
My point, and maybe I'll have to rescind this in a week or two. They should have fucking done it anyway for national healing. Yes.
Oh my God. That is, and I'll use your word that I that is being a fucking pussy.
I'm
Oh
not being
my
a fucking
God.
pussy. I don't give
They
a shit.
should've
I'm
done
talking
it
about
anyway.
these people.
Fuck them. Right? Facts don't care about your feelings. It's the process. They should have done it to pacify a bunch of people who can't accept reality and follow. And Trump is so
Okay.
complicit in this too. Trump lost the election.
Fine.
He was too much.
Fine. You fucking got me with that.
Trump was too immature to say, "I lost. I concede." And he finally said, "Well, I don't believe I lost. It's time for us to stop doing this shit." So there was a little bit of leadership there. So I'm not sure I applaud him for that, but at least he did
Okay,
something.
I
to-
concede my point to you, unlike Trump, that you got me, yes, with pacify. Yes, it's wrong to pacify people, placate the masses.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Give them what they want.
I don't fucking know what I'm arguing for then. Then to me, it's pointless.
It was pointless.
And it'll always just be this horrible? You're like, what the fuck? There's no,
What's
there's no
so horrible?
reciprocity ever? Just government in general.
Where?
And
Okay. Be
It's-
specific. This is
you're-
like institutional racism. There's no reciprocity. Be specific.
no, you always
What are you
talk about
talking
the ick, right? I'm talking about the ick.
It
the
is icky. It is icky. It
So
is
that's
icky.
the end of the conversation.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm saying it was more of a question. Is that it? It's just always going to be like that?
Well, I'm not talking about people getting into Washington and becoming a cog in the machine that is, that churns out
Butter.
butter, sticky, slippery butter. But I mean, I think I don't know if it was last week or when we were talking with Laney, the best thing, one of the best things about America is every 4 years. I mean, unless the incumbent wins, but peaceful transformation of power. unlike
Transference.
any other place,
Yeah.
or transference rather of power, unlike any other place. In our Capitol building, it got unpeaceful. I'm sorry that woman got shot in the neck, but
I'm not, but I'm
more
not
people.
sorry. It's sad that she died, but you
Yeah,
know,
I'm sorry she died.
yeah.
I'm surprised more people didn't get shot, and I think they should have. I think those cops just should have. You don't back up. You fucking shoot people. It's the Capitol
Isn't
building.
it funny if wait, isn't it funny if Biden had said what you just said? You know how he goes, if they were black, it would have been different, and that's unacceptable. Or he should have said, I'm surprised more people didn't get shot, and that's unacceptable. If he came out and said that instead. Oh my God.
When
I
people
would-
started
I'd be like,
climbing that
That
scaffolding,
guy's a winner.
when that people started climbing that scaffolding, I'd have been shooting rubber bullets at them and letting them fall. Sorry.
Those fuckers don't have rubber bullets in their arsenal. It's all about real bullets.
Then you
and
shoot 'em.
at the Capitol.
Shoot the highest guy. When everybody sees him fucking fall, hears a gunshot and sees him fall. How many people are going to keep climbing that scaffolding? None.
Like, whoa, it's raining. Jesus, this is red rain.
Holy shit, they're shooting people. I don't want to die. They should have shot somebody climbing that wall.
It should tell you something too, just about the two groups of rioters. Like one group of these protest type people is susceptible to death as what would you call it?
As a consequence of engagement, I
Yes.
guess.
And the other one is
Yeah, you're
totally
right.
not susceptible to it. It just starts the fire up high. They just shot him. Go kill that guy instead of like, oh fuck, they just shot this girl. Let's back off. Just an interesting
Yeah,
thought.
but
I don't know.
I would think most people, at least in that situation, would think, one, you're not going to overpower. I mean, Secret Service guys are badass motherfuckers, and they all have FNs on their side, and right.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna. I don't think you're gonna win that one. But that was so woefully handled. People are gonna think I'm crazy, but they should have shot somebody on that scaffolding when they were climbing the walls to get into that building. They should have said, nope. Who's next?
Okay, I agree with that, but I want to get into the nitty gritty. I agree with the bullet. More bullets, right? More bullets is good. Charlie and Chris agree on that. Chris and Charlie. You don't get any sense of joy out of them having to evacuate, being like, "Oh my God, what the fuck? We're the untouchables." No, none of that.
No.
To me, it seems like the only like elite. You know, isn't America in Britain? You have this problem. I'm backtracking multiple times here. In Britain, you have this whole classism thing, right? Where accents are even indicative of your wealth status, and it's like people
we have that
are
here.
separated by those accents. It's like part of life. We don't
We
really
have
have
that
that
here.
over here. Not as much. Not nearly as much.
There were people who.
You and I talk about hating on people from Marquette, but well, maybe not Marquette, but a little south of there, Owasso. But the only people in America who are really untouchables are the fucking political elites. It's all the politicians, and it's like for once they had a little bit of a scramble, and they had to put on those stupid gas masks where they're like, "Oh my God, there's tear gas." To me, there's some joy to be had in that, where it's like finally you got some kind of at least you had a fright. I'm okay with that.
I'm not.
Like that shit's real. I'm totally okay with it.
I'm not. I mean, okay, I can't stand AOC, but she's doesn't deserve to feel as though her life is threatened at any point during her term. Period. As icky as they all are, you're going there and like, what's her face? Governor of Michigan. I can't. Yeah, Gretchen Whitmer. I can't fucking stand her. But she's walking on eggshells for the rest of the time she's in office. And you shouldn't have to feel like, fuck, I might fucking die. For this gig?
No, but You know what? I'm not even going to disagree with that because that makes me sound like a psycho. I'm not disagreeing with that. The way you don't die in that situation, just to be devil's advocate, is by by doing your fucking job the right way and not writing a 5,800-page COVID relief bill.
No,
That's so much to ask.
somebody's going to be mad, and if it's the bunch that has guns and you're on the opposite side of them, I think I don't agree with that.
Speaking of guns and
So,
those who have them.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, so there's the side that believes in capitalism and free market economy and well, and whatever else, and the extremes of that bunch carry guns and almost fantasize about civil war. And then on the other side, you have people who want to redistribute wealth and on the fringe fantasize about fucking communism. Right? And they're both fucked up.
People who like capitalism are fucked up.
People who fantasize about defending capitalism and, the Republican Party, conservatism, whatever,
Okay.
by the country devolving into a civil war, and they get to actually engage in their militia activities and
You
shoot
mean
people
preppers who hope
and shoot people
for
for real.
a reason to use that? Sure.
Yeah.
Militia guys, whatever. Okay. I see what
Yeah,
you're saying.
and what if we devolve in the other direction? And you got people who are Marxist communists and they want to tear it fucking down and be in power in Washington and redistribute wealth and control people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, two rich motherfuckers who are doing amazing things.
Yeah.
They're that both deplorables, to use a word of
For a good.
my girl.
Two things. By the way, AOC, if you ever feel your life is threatened, you can totally hide out at my place. You are always welcome. I'll never turn you away as long as you are up for the task. But you mentioned
can't
guns. I
stand
recently
her.
reached a...
You can't stand her,
Can't stand
but
her.
you think she's hot.
She's gorgeous. Yeah. I think she's beautiful. And she's Latinx, So,
Latina.
but
Latina. I think
they
that's
call it
why it's
Latinx now,
Latinx.
Chris.
Yeah, but it's because it's man or woman, Latino or Latina, I think.
Yeah, I didn't want to assume her gender pronouns. Jeez.
Ooh, good point.
I thought you said you're woke.
Nice recovery.
I'm up.
No,
Um,
I think her pronouns are she and her.
There was no recovery. That was intended. I don't know what you're trying to insinuate. But my my point, well, I was going to say,
Whatever.
I recently reached a nice point in gun ownership where I no longer have unsafe. I have too many guns now, which is kind of fun.
Okay.
Yeah. So they can't fit in a safe anymore, which is a nice point. Anyway, thought that would be nice to mention. But so come stay at my place, AFC.
The crazies.
Yeah, the crazies, yeah.
I've decided as
Anyway.
long as it's cold out, I'm wearing camo on Sundays.
That's 3 in a row, dude. You're gonna look at these thumbnails. You're gonna be like, did Chris wear the same shirt?
No, I'm. This is not the same one as last week. I'm alternating.
But it's the one from the week before.
Correct. I only have 2.
Yeah, I like the other one too. Actually, they're both nice. What am I talking about? The other one is more wintry camo,
Yeah.
like your sniper in the winter or whatever. Anyway,
Anyway. Well, that was fun.
lots of stupid quotes. Well, it's fun. What do you think about Trump getting the boot on Twitter?
I'm Trump.
Don't fucking care.
I'm torn on, but Ruben lost something like 14,000 followers.
Yeah.
Trump, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, they have deplatforming people because of their politics. I can't get on board with. That's fucked up, especially
You know what
when
I
it's
thought?
one-sided.
I thought so much about this, and you and I and my sister were talking the other day. But as much as there's like racial protections and sexual orientation, religion, all that stuff, there should be political protection. If you're gonna have protections, which I'm not for, by the way, you should.
There supposedly are.
Freedom of association. What? So like you can't get fired because you're conservative?
Well,
in
I
your
mean,
job?
think of this. It's kind of tangential, but the reasons you get asylum to the United States, one of them is political position.
Yeah, but they don't. I'm not saying that that's a protected. You're not a protected group or class in the United States.
It's one of the things that we let you in our country for. It's considered persecution.
Yeah, but I'm saying people who work in America. Like if I worked at a pizza shop and my boss, this all comes out, and I'm like, you know what? I think that was a good thing. I'm Republican. What the my goddamn shop, you fucking conservative? And I'm like, I can't hit up the Labor Department and be like, hey, I got fired for political discrimination. They'd be like, go fuck yourself, you know?
That's because that's socially in vogue right now, which is really sad.
It's just curious to me that is a huge right now.
Say that again. You cut out a little bit.
It's a huge. It happens a ton in America, right?
It does.
You said
It happens too
14,000
much
people?
right now, right? Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, I was just where my head was at. When you brought that up was I immediately went to trying to think race, religion, nationality, political affiliation, belonging to a group. There's 5. Nationality, inclusion in a group, political affiliation. I think. Is that it? 5? There's either 5 or 7. Anyway, I was just thinking of transitive property, right? If you're not American and we let you in our country because of these reasons of persecution, everybody should be protected for those same things, I think.
I'm just saying it's different. There's different laws for those different people. The way that my brain works is like those are 2 different groups, so there's different rules for different groups. Which is fucked.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
don't like it.
politicians and non-politicians.
Right? The guy in Google who circulated the memo and he got fired and it was a big deal. Remember
right, and
him?
that was just he's like, I don't even feel this way. I just have autism, and this is data that I saw that needed to be said. And they're like, you're fucking fired. You're evil. You don't remember this?
No, not a different guy. Different guy.
No, that was the guy who circulated the memo about women in tech, right? Women in STEM. He hypothesized that maybe women aren't in STEM because they don't want to be.
Was he? The guy I'm talking about wasn't autistic.
No, I'm being facetious. He's saying I'm just looking at data. I don't mean that he's literally like autistic. I'm saying like he's like numbers. I wasn't trying to hurt feelings. This isn't political.
Well, either way, it shouldn't matter.
No, it shouldn't matter, but it's just
Here's
funny
what I
that
think, and
wasn't
it's
even political,
harmless.
but they because one side thinks like that, it was like you're being political and you're not on the right side, so you're fired.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
We'll let you in our country and protect you from that,
But you can't have a job.
from a foreign state, but we won't protect our own citizens of that. That was my point. And that's kind of hypocritical, isn't it? Kinda.
Yes.
Kinda a lot so.
A little bit.
Kinda
Oh my God, he's got a
anti-First
sword.
Amendment. Kinda.
Yeah.
Hey, you can say what you
But then
think,
there's
but
the whole
if you're not on the right side of this fucked up social, I don't know, embargo we're in, we reserve the right to fire you.
Yeah, but okay, yes. So here's the thing that it's a conflict, which is the forest, not the trees. If you're gonna have private entities like you and I or like Pizza Hut, they should be able to freely associate with anybody for any reason. But we already have laws that say you can't fire somebody for a specific reason. So let's just throw politics in there. Fuck it. I don't care. You guys are already breaking the rules by forbidding somebody from firing or not hiring enough of a certain class. So Add politics to that. What the fuck's the problem?
That's interesting.
Right?
This company's not 50-50 Republican and Democrat. We're fucked up. You're fired. You're hired.
Yeah. That is a affirmative action hire right there that I think would actually have a good outcome. I think it would just be like if you made political
Careful
freedom
what you wish
as just
for,
like race.
man.
Whatever. It's the system is already fucked, so I don't really care throwing another monkey wrench in the cogs. Like, I should. People are gonna hate me for this, and we might even get canceled off of YouTube. But you should be able to fire people because of their race if you want. I'm not saying that that's right. That's probably wrong, and your business probably won't succeed if you're doing that unless you are in Bila Battery, Alabama. But if you're not gonna play by those rules already, then throw politics in there too. I'm okay with that.
See, yeah, but your position on that is like a perfectly pure libertarian stance, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard this from another person with the same last name as you.
It's interesting.
Long time ago. Yeah, that's a slippery slope, though. I mean, so what you're saying is, and like I said, I've heard this before, I should be 100% free to surround myself with whoever I choose to surround myself with for whatever reasons I see fit, basically.
And
right?
within whatever time frame, yes. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a pure libertarian position.
Correct.
Good luck with
the
that
idea
one.
behind that, which is why you don't need to regulate that, is because people are guided by the invisible hand. And if I'm a company who's saying, fuck all black people, we're not going to hire any black people because I hate them, you're not going to go anywhere. And the news gets out. And we're already in a society where that shit happens in a day and would close your doors by next week. So
Yeah, well, you're just
that
trying to
problem
like
is self.
you're trying to like
That's
back into
self-correcting.
a justification of.
No.
Well, here's what I'd
the
say, though.
justification is the morality.
What if just things were continued to like tilt, and you and I have a year ago, longer than that, when we started the podcast, when people were really, really, really throwing like white privilege in your face, especially if you were white male, especially if you're older white male. Do you think that's right? Somebody's like, white privilege, dude. You're not allowed here. You're fired. You're this, you're that.
You think that store lasts long when they're not serving 40% of the population? No.
Well, you take the percentages away.
That's the point. I'm sorry, but you have okay, I'll take the percentages away. I'm okay with that because I believe that person has a right to not have to serve me if they don't want to. For any reason.
I guess from a certain perspective, I don't disagree because a few episodes
just
ago
talked about
we were
this with the
talking about,
cakes.
and I said,
Yeah.
think of a mom and pop bakery that's a black couple and a guy comes in and wants them to bake a KKK cake.
The guy'd be like, fuck off. You'd be like, no.
Yeah.
And they'd be like,
No,
this guy
sorry.
won't bake a cake because of my political film. And they'd be like,
Sorry, we're
good
not
for
doing
that
that.
guy. He's not a pussy. Yeah.
Right? And they shouldn't
Yeah.
have to do that. And I think everybody would agree. But if you turn that on its
yes.
head, right? Because we were talking about I think the gay wedding cake, right? And they knew that the people who owned the bakery were Catholic or espoused pretty strong Christian ideals, and we're just troublemaking. Yeah, it's just.
Here's some. Okay, go ahead.
From a pure libertarian standpoint, I get it, and it's a fair point.
But what, it feels wrong?
Kind of.
Is that what you're saying? It does feel wrong?
Kinda.
Oh, then I don't give a fuck about your feelings because my
Right.
logic is undeniable, bitch.
Well, I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna lie to you.
Good. Yeah, no, well, that's why I said that because I knew what you were thinking. But let me just spin you this little anecdote for a sec. this will be interesting to a lot of people at home, which this story has never left my family yet. But maybe
What
it
about
should.
people who might listen in the car?
Huh?
What about people who might
What?
listen in the car?
Perhaps, perhaps, but I haven't told it yet. So
Okay.
let's see. I don't get that joke. Sorry.
For people who are listening at home.
Oh, yeah. You can. You guys are now part of the family. My grandpa used to work at GM. He was head of personnel. And this is back when ACLU was kind of, let's just say that they were sticking their dick into a lot of things, and it could cost you a fuckload of money if you're a company not following a lot of this affirmative action shit.
Bad
This
analogy,
new
but
legislation. Bad analogy, but they were enforcing a lot of these rules, and it could cost you a ton of money were you failing to do so, right? So GM got hit really fucking hard one time for not having enough black personnel in some area of the business. I have no idea. So my grandpa, as head of
okay. Dude,
personnel,
don't get us kicked off YouTube.
at this one point, I'm not getting us kicked off. I'm just explaining the reality of what that is.
Okay.
So you have this. So you have these meetings. What affirmative action does to you is you have these meetings where then you're like, okay, so we don't get sued again for $30 million. How do we move people around the company so that we're fulfilling all this stuff? And all it does is you're fulfilling your. I'm trying not to get kicked off now. You're right, but all you do at some point, and this is how he's told the story, is you just move people around to make sure that you're checking off a box. Guys who might have had that spot can't have that spot because otherwise it makes you look like you're a racist. That's where I'll leave it at. And that's the reality of those kinds of legislations.
Yeah, well, yes. And unfortunately, we've gone backwards. We're going backwards where people want to start checking boxes again.
And that's fucking stupid, which is why you should get rid of all that stuff. No protections at all. And that way, everybody's equally protected, which is great.
I agree. I agree. You take 4 kids. You got a white kid, a black kid, an Asian kid, a Middle Eastern kid. And you throw them in a sandbox with a bunch of toys. From the first time they're old enough to safely play alone. And you let them play and play and play. And then those same 4 kids go to school together, say all through high school. If nobody ever brings up that there's something different about them, they're just going to grow up with the understanding that people have different colors of skin.
Yeah.
But we don't do that. And I'm not saying
I
you
was
and
fortunate enough.
I'm not saying you and I, but this country and this world doesn't do that. We still teach people, whether you're a racist or you're a well-intended not racist or whatever. Especially in America right now, we just don't seem to be able to let it go.
And I like opening people about, and this is a Walter Williams logic. He just died, a little while ago, but old black libertarian type guy. This is opening your eyes by using real world, or simplified examples. If you say, what's wrong with racism? People go, oh my God, what the fuck? And you say, what? My black best friend in high school was totally fucking racist. I would ask him all the time, Reggie, do you want to, would you ever marry a white chick? And he's like, fuck no. And I'm like, why? He's like, because it's too hard of a cultural difference. And sure enough, weeks ago or a month ago, he got engaged to his black girlfriend, which I think is awesome. But you're not going to, in your own personal life, are you not allowed to afford?
Yeah, but that's not racist.
Yes,
That's more libertarian.
No, he's being racist by excluding certain races from his
Yeah, but
search for a wife.
not because he doesn't want to marry a white girl, because he doesn't want to live the ensuing complicated life. Like if I had
It doesn't
if
matter.
I had a
He's
son or a
making
daughter,
a racially charged decision.
he's making a fact-based decision. If I had a son or a daughter, and they were getting serious with somebody,
You
and,
go-
and
wait,
hang on,
wait,
hang
wait,
on,
wait,
hang
wait,
on,
wait.
hang on, hang on,
More-
hang on,
oh, okay.
hang on. If I had a son or a daughter, and they were thinking about getting married, and so I'm white,
Like that kid.
so and they're thinking about taking on a black mate, and they came to me and said, "What do you think?" I'd say, the only thing I'll say is, or I'll ask this: do you plan on having kids? And if they said yes, I would say, you guys need to think about how, if it might be hard on the kids. If you're not going to have kids, fucking do it. That's fine. You create your own situation, and you're going to deal with what you're going to deal with. But if you have kids, who knows what you might put them through. So I don't think that's racist. I think that's just looking at the facts. So
That's
if your
very
buddy
different.
said, I don't want to marry a white chick because the life would just be, we just get too much flack, and I don't want to deal with that. That's just an
No,
informed
he's
decision.
talking about his own personal preference. It's nothing to do with external flack. He's talking about himself dealing with her family and her way of life and her doing Christmas instead of Kwanzaa or some shit. That's not an example he used with me, but I'm just trying to get the point across here. And this is a true story. So he's being racist, much like a lot of people do when they're choosing a mate. I don't think that's wrong. And if you're making a racist decision based on facts, just because it's based on facts doesn't make it not racist.
Well, is it because he
Which is why
doesn't
I
like
took
white
beef with what you
chicks, or
just said
because he
that.
doesn't want a complicated life?
It's because
Did
he
he ever
is
have a
choosing
white
not to date
girlfriend?
white chicks. Why does a racist hate black people? Because they're black?
Pretty much.
There's no. He'd be like, "Why do you hate black people?" He'd be like, "Cause they're black." You'd be like, "Yeah, but what did they do?" He'd be like, "Well, they complicate life." They'd be like, "Oh, that's not racist. You just don't want a complicated life." No. You're. This is not good.
You ever
You're-
known anybody
you're-
who's really, really racist?
No.
I worked at a company, a small company, and there were a couple guys, and they didn't even know anybody who was black, and they hated black people, and they used the language, and it was ugly and bizarre and uncomfortable for me, and
Yeah.
fucking, it was grotesque.
Yeah.
It was grotesque. There's one story that got told that I won't even repeat ever to anybody.
Wow.
It's just so fucked up.
Not even to me when you're on your deathbed.
I'll tell you on my deathbed.
I'm your favorite godson. You wouldn't tell me that?
You know, that's not true. I have told a couple people the story, but I was like, I don't want to ever tell that story again. Now you want to know. I'll tell you, but it's just,
That's okay. It doesn't matter.
it's
I won't
really
bring it up.
bad. It's sad. It makes me sad, man. And the things they would say, and when they would start talking, I would just turn around and walk away.
You're like,
And they knew
"Yeah,
why.
Yeah.
It was
They're like, "Oh, Chris is coming." For
It
some
was
reason, he's like, "We
unreal.
don't actually hate black people. We just hate Chris."
it was
It
unreal,
just
man.
made you uncomfortable.
It
is
wasn't that I
unreal,
was
it's disturbing.
uncomfortable. It was like, guys, I'm not gonna fucking hear this.
Yeah.
When-
Yeah, it's no good.
I'm not gonna hear this. I'm not gonna stand to hear this. So,
Good for you.
yeah, I guess whatever.
You want a cookie? I'm just kidding. For being disgusted by
I'd
something that's
like
disgusting.
a cookie. Yeah,
Okay, I'll bring one over
they
later.
struggled with me at first. They called me college boy. I mean, these guys were rednecks, big time.
Oh, well, fuck them. They're not even like real people. It's the same shit. Sorry, but you know, um, and this
Well,
is a different
there's
time. Fair
there's
enough.
kind of a correlation there, but
Yeah.
man, was that bizarre. Bizarre. There are black people that have experienced some horrible fucking shit that I'm sure you don't get over in life. Even now. What if somebody
But
hated
thank
your
God.
fucking guts because you're white and you knew
I
it,
wore
and they had the ability to make your life uncomfortable more repeatedly?
by breaking my jaw. That's
Do
possible.
whatever.
I wore a Trump shirt at a Halloween party recently, and of course, some guy takes offense to it. Not gonna mention anything else about this particular guy, and he's like, "Fucking step outside." And I'm like, "No, you're retarded." I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter. No.
Somebody wanted to fight you.
And I don't know if he was just posturing or whatever, but yeah. And I was at a work thing for somebody else, so I wasn't gonna cause shit. But yeah. That's the equivalent of what that's become. It's almost like, gay people in the 1950s. They have to be like, oh, you want to go for a cigarette? And then it's like you and the other guy, you go outside, you look at each other, and then you go do your thing, and then whatever. It's like if you're a fucking conservative in today's America, you have to be like that. You can't just blab everywhere that these are your feelings. Otherwise, it has a negative effect on you. People target you.
I yeah. I don't know. What you've just described, or some of the anecdotes, versus just saying, I'm conservative, are kind of different.
What do you mean?
If somebody said, how do you describe yourself politically?
Oh.
And you said,
anarchist.
Well, let's just say your answer was conservative.
Conservative.
I don't think that's going to push somebody's buttons as much as wearing a Trump t-shirt
supporter,
when you
whatever.
know that it's going to bother people. You knew it was going to piss people off.
No, they literally were saying shit about, oh, you white boy, what? I bet your parents own a boat. What, did you vote for Trump? What? Oh, shit like that. And I'm like, boom, MAGA, And they're like, oh, you motherfucker. It was really funny, and no, nothing bad happened, but I was prepared for that shit. I have my fucking Trump shirt on. I was ready to go. Yeah. You get treated differently. Then let me take that back. Not as a conservative, but if you say, I support President Trump, that's my political leanings. It's just whatever he wants to do. Which, by the way, if you do that, you're stupid, because he's not really a politician so much as a showman. But, yeah.
Anyway. I don't know where to
You're
go
still
from
thinking
here.
about that story. You're still thinking about how horrible racism is in America.
Well, it's there, man. It's still
Yeah,
there.
but don't let it bring you down. Don't be sad about it. Jeez, do something about it.
No, I just... yeah. Yeah, but being 100% libertarian, it's not...
Always the
Everything's
nicest
not
thing? I
everything's
agree.
not okay yet. Everything's not okay yet to say, fuck it, it's over, nobody needs to do anything, right? Why the fuck do I put this thing there? Because there's work to be done. There is still work to be done. And just saying it's okay and let's all pretend we're colorblind is naive.
I'm not even going to say it, but sure.
Well,
Don't pretend you're colorblind. Be who you're going to be and just know that certain actions have consequences. How hard is that?
You think it's that simple?
Really hard for a lot of people, is what you're going to say.
No, I don't think it's that simple. Is what I'm going to say. Is what I have to say. It's just not that simple.
Pavlov thought it was that simple. That's why he trained his dogs to salivate.
Yeah, well, dogs and people are a lot more complicated than dogs.
Limbic system, prefrontal cortex. I think it's about as simple as that at the end of the day.
I don't think dogs are capable of evil.
Dogs are actually capable of heroic acts, though. They save people from drowning all the time.
Is that heroic or is it just reaction?
It is, the news tells us it's heroic.
Yeah, well, that's the news.
Well, of good, I don't know.
Yeah, they're in the story selling business. Anyway.
Donald Trump. Whatever. That's my point of view. Not everybody has to agree with me, and if you don't agree with me, good for you. And that's how we've always ended the shows, I think. But if you disagree with me, go fuck yourself, and I'm right and you're wrong, and I don't know. Comment below and let's argue on the internet, because what else is there to do? No.
Yeah. All right.
You're tired.
I don't want to go
Yes.
down this road.
We're ending it. What road?
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
We're out.
Yeah.
All right, man. We got to ask the 8-ball a question.
Okay, you can do it though.
I got no question.
You totally lost energy on me at the end there. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Let's see. Is this Capitol Hill insurrection, going to end up being good for America in the long run? Yes, definitely. Yes,
Wow.
definitely. That was 2 yeses.
Wow.
I'm not making this
All
shit
right.
up.
There you go. On
Shit
that one,
posted.
we are over and out. I hope it's right.
I was fucking right. After all that.
Say goodbye, Charlie.
Bye. I'm a really good person at heart, I promise.
Say goodbye, Chris. Bye.